What's up, guys? This is Sean, the Thought Decoder. We're just coming to you with our first reaction video, and I just want to respond to the whole Liam Neeson controversy that's happening because of what he said in an interview uh, with a journalist from the Independent. Uh, I already listened to the video, but here's some points that he says in the video that we can look out for. He said his friend was raped and told him about it. He said that she told him that he was a black man, the person who did it, and that he walked around with a weapon hoping to be approached by a black so-and-so, so-and-so, so that he could kill him. And then he said it was awful and that he learned a lesson from it. Let's watch it.
I'll tell you a story. This is true. I'm not going to use any names, but I was away and I came back and she told me she had been raped, but she handled the situation of the rape in the most extraordinary way. But my immediate reaction was, I asked, did she know who it was? No. What colour were they? She said it was a black person. I went up and down areas with a cosh, hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. And I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, so that I could kill him. And it took me a week, maybe a week and a half to kind of go for that. And she said to me, where are you going? I said, I'm just going out for a walk, She said, what's wrong? No, nothing's wrong, fine. And it was horrible when I think back, but I did that. And I've never admitted that to it. I'm saying it to a journalist, God forbid. It's awful. But I did learn a lesson from it when I eventually thought, And I come from a society, I grew up in Northern Ireland in the Troubles, and I knew a couple of guys that died in hunger strike, and I had acquaintances that were very caught up in the Troubles. And I understand that need for revenge, but it just leads to more revenge and more killing and more killing. And, Ireland, Northern Ireland is proof of that, All the stuff that's happening in the world at the minute, the violence is proof of that, So it's, but that's, primal need, I understand,
You can relate to that.
So if we stop it there, we can see basically, again, those points. His friend was raped and told him about it. She told him it was a black man. He walked around with a weapon hoping to be approached by a black, and it says black B. So I think he called him a black bastard. So some black bastard, so that he could kill him. He said that it was awful and he learned a lesson from it. And so what was the lesson? The lesson seems to be revenge and violence produces more of the same. So that's his point. Revenge and violence produces more of the same. Okay? And also he has another point. Revenge is a primal way of thinking, which is like a sub point. So I think the second point, revenge is a primal way of thinking, is his ultimate point. And then the conclusion he draws from that is that revenge and violence produces more of the same. And he gives the story about how his friend was raped by a black man, allegedly. They didn't find the guy. When he got back from overseas, he wanted to go and meet that friend. or find the person who did it to defend her honor. So listening from what he said, Colin saying he was looking for a black bee so that he could kill him. I don't know if that's racist, but it is it is questionable, very questionable, and it's closer to racist than it is not racist. Because if this did happen 40 years ago, why when he's retelling the story, he's saying that he was going around looking for some black bee, where maybe that's how he felt at the time, and he's just trying to communicate that now. But it is ambiguous, so I think that that's a part that leads to the controversy. His jumping into that role and speaking as aggressively during the interview as he would have felt during the time it happened, and he said it happened 40 years ago. So now we're going to watch a video from The View and see how they respond to this. I'm going to have to...
Actor Liam Neeson did an interview promoting his movie Cold Pursuit and was asked where he drew his inspiration for his character seeking revenge from. And here's how he answered the question and how he clarified it.
Did you know who it was? No. What color were they? She said it was a black person. I went up and down areas with a cosh, hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. And I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black would down to earth.
So, well, how do you feel about the explanation?
Want to start? No.
So Whoopi Goldberg opens and she says that in the controversial video, Liam Neeson is asked where he got his inspiration for the new movie from. And Liam Neeson begins to answer that question by the video we saw, the first video we saw. So Whoopi Goldberg asked her panel, how did they feel about what Liam Neeson said? And so I want to raise two questions here. Because first, I don't think they understood what Liam Neeson's point was, which is never addressed. It's like they don't, and it almost seems like Joy, regardless of what Liam Neeson's point was, feels that he shouldn't have used that example, which is why? Because she calls it venting. But venting implies that Liam Neeson was, when he gave the interview, was describing his current feelings about black people. So it doesn't seem like she really understood what he said, and it's like this whole emotional way of communicating that I see a lot in the public and in mass media. It's like no one thinks about the content of what's being said or listens to even your point. They get distracted by the example you gave. So here's Joy. I'll let her embarrass herself.
Well, okay, I will. I love it in Liam. I feel bad that this happened, this whole thing. But to me, it's like, people have prejudices and bigotries in themselves. It doesn't mean they have to express them constantly. There's this whole...
So she said to her, people have prejudices. Present tense. Again, Liam Neeson just disclosed